Okay, so this is going to be an interesting topic on either sport bikes or cruisers. So right now I have this bike in the fourth floor right now. So I haven't been riding it. So just sitting here. Brand new oil, new spark plugs, new air filter. All maintained. I just have it sitting here for a bit just because I am out of storage. So just have it in here. From riding sport bikes for a long ass time and moving to more of a cruiser bike, it's kind of weird the thing that you notice from the two bikes. You would expect that two bikes that you're comparing one to another, like this one is better at this, the other one is better at that. But one of the things that a lot of people don't mention is actually how people like treat you, which is weird because you get a lot of both worlds. You get like, you kind of join the brothers, which is kind of like, I don't know, some people might be against that, you know, it's kind of like gay. I mean, they're gonna wave at you at least and all that, which I mean, you don't really gain anything from that. A lot of the people kind of respect you more, like even cars and stuff, like they hear you and they see you, and it's like, they kind of pay more attention and more respect to you compared to sport bikes, which is like weird. Like even here, like this guy wants to get me that. Like I feel more respected. It's weird like that. I don't really get that with the sport bikes. I mean, they still do, but it's not that much. And it's also like, this is like separate from the bikes, by the way. So it's like, but it's like you don't really fit in with the other people. It's like if you go to car meets, which I do here and there. I used to do it a lot before. Well, with sport bikes, it's like you immediately have your own group and all that. A lot of sport bikes, you see a cruiser, and it's like you immediately are not like that part of the group, you know. And riding these bikes, whenever you see people that you know, they're like, oh, you should have brought the sport bike. It's like, fuck, kind of should have. But you get that, so you get kind of that stuff on the side, which is kind of like separate from the bike itself, but it's related to the bike, if that makes any sense. It's interesting. That's something I don't really see people like talking about it. If you've never ridden one of these, it's like you should. It's like a different world. It's so like unique, being that it's just a motorcycle at the same time. There's like once I got it, it's like for some reason you get that idea about like traveling and shit. Like you want to do that, you know. You get like a different mindset with these bikes. You can turn into a douchebag maybe, which didn't happen to me. I feel like you turn more into a douchebag on a sport bike, so it's just, that's an arguable point of view. So if you consider like talking about just the bikes, if you think about maybe safety, if you want to talk about like which one is the safest, it's probably the sport bike. I'm not gonna lie. On the sport bike, you have Brembo brakes, you have better braking, you have more acceleration to get out of whatever. If you have some crazy ass dude trying to kill you, you can run away with that. With this one, I mean you could, but it's harder. But these are honestly fucking amazing commuters. You know, yeah, I'm flat foot in the bike. You know, I can move back and forth. It feels nicer to be riding in the city with these instead of the sport bike. But I kind of get more tired on these because you're just sitting. It feels like you're just sitting. Okay, I kind of lost. I was running the maps and I completely forgot that I had my earbuds off. So if you haven't seen the video of the Gixxer I did, which is the other bike I have, but it's just chilling. These are new, by the way. So they're smoking right now because they're just freshly installed today. These were actually like burning my pants, so that's why I got these. So now they're like settling and they're smoking and burning, and that's why. I was talking about the prices on like this bike, and the total value, they're like probably 3,000 or 2,000. Depends on how you get them. What I like about these is like everything is so dirt cheap. Even tires. Brand new tire on the rear, $60. Forgot the brand. But they're like cheap tires. But they're just cruiser, man. They're not gonna blow up on you. So $60. I got a front tire also for like 50. Yeah, you have that. So it's like pair of tires is less than $100. On the sport bike, fucking $350 for a rear and $200 for the front. It's like you pay like $500 for the pair. $500 for just tires. And then you have all the other stuff. Even on gasoline. Gasoline, I just run the 87 sport bikes. Straight up 91. That's like 20 cents more. So you have that. A more expensive fuel. On parts, everything is so cheap on this. It's like brake pads. It runs a drum. But I mean, drum at the rear. I bought a pair from brake pads. And the rear drum, like $20. For sport bikes, you're gonna get a pair for the front. That's like $60 maybe. And then you need the rear. Probably like $80. And then if you don't know how to do it, pay a mechanic, there you go, over $100. So just talking about that, it's like all on these bikes is so cheap. They're just a perfect commuter. If you're trying to cut corners in the places you actually spend money, this is the best area to get to. You're like saving up on literally everything. You buy cheaper oil on this one. I still run synthetic, but the oil is like $30 with the filter, cheap ass filter. So everything on this bike is dirt cheap, and everything on the sport bike is expensive. But I feel like the main con, especially on this bike, is if you don't know what you're doing, your mechanic knowledge is, let's say like 10 is you're a professional mechanic, like you get paid for it. Let's say your knowledge is on a 3 and you get one of these bikes, you're gonna have to take it to a mechanic, I'm not gonna lie. If your knowledge is on the level 3, it's like for this bike you need at least like a level minimum, probably like a level 5. If you have a lower level of knowledge, you at least need the patience to actually do the research and all that. Because I've reworked the carbs, so that's all I had to fucking learn it, because I forgot how to do it since it's been years since I've done it. You know, being in the new era where everything is fuel injected. This bike is carb, so you have that. So I did the main jet and the pilot jets, and I had to tune the engine. I had to tune the carbs because it was running rich, then it was running lean. It was just fucking up and down. So it's like if you have no idea what you're doing, you're just gonna have one issue after another. So it's like in that aspect, it's like you're kind of more safe on having a sport bike, but you're just paying so much for everything. Even the valve adjustment, because I took the entire bike apart on this one to repaint the frame, I pretty much redid the engine, like new clutch. I adjusted the valves and changed seals and a bunch of stuff. For valve adjustments on the sport bikes, it's almost $1,000. That's $1,000. You know, you need the chims, you need the whole thing, and then it takes, I don't know how long, probably like 4 days for them to do the job. And you gotta hope that they probably did it well. On this bike, I did it like in an hour. If you're probably wondering why I use this bike the most compared to the sport bike, that's honestly the main reason. It's just everything is so cheap on this bike, and I do 90% of my stuff is just commuting. Like right now I'm just gonna go buy some stuff. There's no point on running a $20,000 bike to do just normal shit when I can just use this bike. That way I don't have to deal with all the other expensive parts like chains and all that. This bike is shaft driven, so I don't even have to deal with a chain. I just change the oil on the differential. If you're considering getting a motorcycle, probably consider first your budget, which I kind of didn't. I can still afford the other bike, but it's just I would rather spend the money elsewhere, you know. But for some reason I just fell in love with this bike. It just does everything that I need. So it's like the other one is enjoyable, it's fast, you know. I'm still addicted to fast speeds and all that. Like sometimes I see cops, it's like they see me and they kind of nod. So it's like you have cops, it's like they kind of see you and they kind of respect it more. They see a kid on a sport bike and they immediately go like, Let me see if he has a plate. So you get more. Oh, that's so important that I forgot to mention. With this bike, you get no heat. You know. I was by the beach, and it was full twisted throttle on one of like these kind of streets, and I just passed by a cop, and I'm like, "Fuck! I'm gonna get pulled over." Look back, the cop never even made a turn towards me. On the sport bike, they would have immediately gone like and chased me. So you have that, the amount of heat you get on sport bikes, you honestly get bored of it, you know. That shows how much hate sport bikes get, even though they say like these bikes they don't respect them or anything like that. They say they don't respect them and they're gay and all that. Man, everyone hates sport bikes. I mean, it's not the bike, but it's like the people. But that's all like people that have their own mindset on sport bikes. But yeah, we were talking about the bikes and all that. But in the end, for me, it's never been. It hasn't changed me really, at least as a person. But I feel like for some people it might. Now that I think about it, if one of your goals is probably aesthetics, not gonna lie, you can't beat this aesthetically. Like this one, I guess a sport bike. Sport bikes are beautiful, man, but it's like there's something about these bikes. These are the man's bike. That might sound kind of stupid, but it kind of makes sense. These are the man's bike, you know. Well, the sport bikes they're like for children's. Nah, not really. Nah, it's not like that, but it is at the same time, if you get me. But yeah, I don't know what else to say, so probably leave it at that before I just start rambling, just saying nonsense. But yeah, if you can afford both bikes, definitely do it. It's not gonna be the case for everyone, but they're cheap, so I mean, it's instead of buying a $10,000 bike, you can buy two $5,000. You have both options right there. So yeah, I feel like you should probably do that if you can. But if not, get a sport bike maybe. You have a bigger world there. But these are definitely worth it. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, that's it.